What's up? It's been a very long time since I made a video because, as I said before, I'm not very good at making videos. But anyway, felt like making a video today because yesterday I got back from my first ever Animal Rights National Conference outside of DC in Alexandria, Virginia. And I just want to talk a little bit about it and my experience and what I thought and some of the things I experienced there. Man, what an awesome time. What an awesome time. Went down Wednesday night. Conference didn't start until Thursday afternoon. Did a little sightseeing around downtown Alexandria. Found a neat little cafe called Lost Dog Cafe, which has a lot of vegan options, and portions of their proceeds go to companion animal rescues. And then the conference started at 4 o'clock Thursday evening. Wednesday night we went to downtown DC to go to a new vegan cafe because I've heard so much about it, and it didn't disappoint. Man, that place was fantastic. I had sweet and sour chicken with some sauteed squash and some amazing mac and cheese with this big ass sticky bun for dessert. So overall, just an awesome experience. Being in an area like Alexandria that has a lot of vegan options around, unlike where I'm at in Delaware, where we only have one vegan restaurant and it's an hour away from me. Alexandria has quite a lot in the area and in downtown DC, which isn't far away. But the conference itself was just so cool. Just being in an area with hundreds of other people that think like me and feel like me. Unfortunately, I found, not everybody there was vegan. There was people there that are animal activists for other animals, and they, unfortunately don't think about the farmed animals that they're still eating. But hopefully after the weekend, maybe they had a change of heart. But majority, I'd say 98% of people were vegan, maybe a few vegetarians, but mostly vegan. It was just great. I mean, I met so many cool people. There were so many awesome organizations there representing the various things that they do to improve the lives of animals, from animal experimentation to animal entertainment like circuses, and you just name it. There was an organization there representing or fighting against some form of animal exploitation. Majority of everything focused around farmed animals because they are the biggest demographic of animals that are exploited in society. Something like 98% of all animal exploitation happens to farmed animals, or the animals that we consume. So it was from Thursday to Sunday. And there was just so much to do. There was workshops all day, panels with speakers, Q&As. The restaurant in the hotel had an all-vegan menu that was available in room service. They had buffet dinners. They had buffet lunches. It was just such a great experience. Every night there was a networking reception where you could just sit and chat with other activists and, learn what they're doing, connect with them, through social media, just make some great connections, and learn a lot from the panels, asking some of these people that have been doing this for a very long time, their input. Then there was the exhibit halls with all the literature. I mean, look at all this stuff here. I got all this stuff from all these vendors. You got stickers and all kinds of stuff. Vegan businesses. I mean, everybody was there. It was just very cool. That was fun. At the end of the night, or at the end of the conference on Sunday night, they wrapped it up with the celebration of animals, which was a very entertaining drag queen show with Honey LeBronx and Mistress Ginger, two vegan drag queens, and it was thoroughly entertaining. Earlier in that day, activists from Direct Action Everywhere and the Save Movement and other activists took the metro into downtown DC, and they marched to the White House, demanding animal liberation, although we know Trump is on a ever-present vacation, but there were still people there. So it was just a great experience. Didn't want it to end. Was sad to have to leave, but all good things come to an end. And I'm already looking forward to next year. Not next year, because next year is in California and I can't make it out that far. But already looking forward to when they return back to the East Coast in Alexandria in 2019. Yeah. It was just, I just can't even describe it. You get an elevator full of animal activists. The bar at night was just packed with people talking and having a good time and connecting and meeting new people. I've met people that I've been friends with on Facebook for a while that I've never actually met in person. I made new friends and new connections. There were several notable organizations and some very cool people doing some very cool things. One guy that I met had some very, very cool T-shirts for sale, very unique, different than everything else, and his business is called Guerrilla Warfare, and he had some very cool stuff, so I had to buy one of his shirts. There was another guy there that does a lot of photography, and his business was called Unparalleled Suffering Photography. Very cool guy. I talked with him for a long time. I met Robert Grillo, the founder of Free From Harm, and some of the guys and gals that I've worked with from Mercy for Animals, and hung out with some of the people from the Humane League one night, and saw some old friends that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, it was just really cool. It was cool not having to answer questions like where to get your protein from, or all the other stupid questions that vegans deal with regularly. It was cool not having to worry about whether or not the food I was eating was vegan. It was cool to have a lot of options to eat. Sometimes in this area, because we don't have many options, we have one restaurant in Delaware called Drop Squad Kitchen, and they're an hour away. And so, when I go to a restaurant and there's very few options there, it's steamed broccoli or French fries. But when you go and you have a lot of options, then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, what do I choose? Sometimes that indecisiveness is nice to have, because we're not used to that. Or I'm not used to that. Maybe others are, but in my area, I'm not used to that. It was cool seeing so many dogs. People bring their dogs to this event, even a pig, Charlotte the pig. If you don't know Charlotte, she's on Instagram, and she's very popular on Facebook. So she came, and she was definitely a big hit. And then Monday, I believe, several activists went and participated in a Save Vigil somewhere in Maryland. And there was also Lobby Day yesterday, if people want to stick around for that. There were some really good speakers. Alex Hershaft, the founder of Farm, is just a very inspirational guy, and he has done some amazing things. The Bud Keys, who founded Stop Animal Exploitation Now, were very, very inspiring to hear. There are so many speakers, I can't even think of them all. Brenda Sanders from Afro Vegan Society and Thrive Baltimore. She was great. I went to several of her panels. There was so many different panels focused on various things: social media, connecting with people, fundraising, avoiding burnout, just lots of stuff, lots of information to take in. Really just a great experience. I just was so sad that it had to end, but got to come back to reality. But I really came back feeling more invigorated, hoping to do some more stuff in my local area. So I didn't take a lot of pictures because I was too busy trying to focus and pay attention to the sessions that I was in. But I did take some pictures and a couple videos, so I'll throw those here at the end, so get a little peek at what went on. But just a few things that I have just pales in comparison to what the experience was actually like. So here's some video. Enjoy. Maybe I'll make another video in a year or so. But thanks for watching.
It can't be that difficult to understand that each animal values his or her life as much as you value yours. You have no right to harm somebody else in the process of harming yourself, so I am the ethics police. And vegans will defend animals from you until this massacre stops.
They tantalize, objectify, and torment every other species, entrapped in cages, entangled by urine and feces, promised an existence, cage-free and grass-fed, destined to endure the torture that lies ahead. Maltreated, mangled and maimed, beak detached, cut off, fully conscious, viciously attacked, labeled waste from the very second they hatch, thrown at and tossed alive in the fucking trash. Poultry farming, a scorch of terror and panic. It's not healthy and organic, every product toxic, poisonous feed, venomous eggs, milk and cheese, a bringer of cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Animal protein, the source of incurable malady, the root of fatal illness, absolute atrophy. Choose plant-based over toxic waste, you fucking bastard, or I'll cut you by the stern and wrap you up in plastic.
Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it. Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it.
They have their liberty stolen, brutally hijacked, put on the rape racks, fisted in the vaginal tract, forcefully injected with extracted bull semen. Definition of enslavement, the opposite of freedom. Baby cattle are torn from the mother's womb, sent up to be dissected in a fucking tomb, imprisoned and chained just to keep the meat tender, shipped out for consummation to your local vendor. The products are labeled with bullshit expressions and pictures of happy cows to blind your impressions, illustrations of happy cattle on your happy meal. You kneel in delusion even though it's far from real. I can't even fully describe the sum of cruelty that goes into a glass of milk. It's not for you and me. Dog milk is for dogs, goat milk is for goats, cow milk is not for humans, it's fucking gross.
Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it. Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it.
Mommy and Daddy lied to us too. We're not that special. And we're not perfect just the way we are. But at least when you become vegan, you are trying to reduce and eliminate gratuitous amounts of cruelty and violence, which is all I'm asking of you today.
My lyrics and beats send shivers down your spine, willing to die for my friends and they're not human. I'll fight forever and that's the truth, man. I'll do whatever it takes to get my point across. An activist through music like a fucking boss. Do you have to kill just to please your taste buds? We're all fucking equal, even bees and bugs. If you don't see that, well then you're excluded. Every carnage come, vegetarians included. Your blood will splatter on my vegan receipt. That's how I fucking feel about eating dairy and meat. This is my goal, I'll always fight for this. If you're offended, that's just how it is. And no, I'm not pleased until they're all free. So go vegan, fuck humanity.
Till every cage is empty, I will fight, I will do what it takes to make it right. Every animal I risk my life the same.
give a shit. Keep hating like you do, cause in my heart I know that I'm better than you.
Every cage is empty, I will fight, I will do what it takes to make it right. Every animal I risk my life to save. A soldier and I fight until I'm in the grave. Every cage is empty, I will fight, I will do what it takes to make it right. Every animal I risk my life to save. A soldier and I fight until I'm in the grave. Every cage is empty, I will fight, I will do what it takes to make it right. Every animal I risk my life to save. A soldier and I fight until I'm in the grave. In the grave, in the grave, in the grave, in the grave.
Every life matter, not only says on the line. What about all the rest, the other animals that are dying? You preach love and peace, shout it out like a fucking hippie. But where's your pity when it comes down to the nitty gritty? You're a carnivorous hypocrite and imposter. Through the eyes of an animal, you're a monster. You're not a pacifist. If there's meat in your fridge, it's not food, it's violence. You fucking son of a bitch. You have the guilt of murder on your tongue and palate when you devour the flesh of corpses like a maggot. If you wanna save the planet, don't blame your fucking habit. Like you're addicted to meat, like a crack addict. Your love is now unlimited to your friends and pets. That's the reason why you eat cows and pigs with no regrets. You're an enabler with your careless behavior. Respect those sentient life and start being a savior. For a second, put yourself in their position. Try seeing life through the eyes of a victim. If you're not vegan, you're the one doing the killing. Through their eyes, you're a felon, a villain. For a second, put yourself in their position. Try seeing life through the eyes of a victim. If you're not vegan, you're the one doing the killing. Through their eyes, you're a felon, a villain. Listen, I'ma say you're an empathetic sinner. Redemption and affection begins with a vegan dinner. You'll have to sacrifice your inflexibility and choose the right path for those who suffer in captivity. Eating animals is glorified. Homicide is not humane, it's not benevolent. It's genocide. To them you bear the trace of a killer like Columbine. From their POV, you're a maniac by design. I refuse to see our morality crash and burn. I will never stand by like it's not of my concern. I wonder what they would say if they could verbalize. Maybe that would be enough to curb a fucking appetite. I know deep down inside you're not indifferent. Don't sweep it under the rug like it's insignificant. You're not ethically impaired beyond repair. So go vegan and show the whole fucking world that you care. For a second, put yourself in their position. Try seeing life through the eyes of a victim. If you're not vegan, you're the one doing the killing. Through their eyes, you're a felon, a villain. For a second, put yourself in their position. Try seeing life through the eyes of a victim. If you're not vegan, you're the one doing the killing. Through their eyes, you're a felon, a villain.
So on the last day of the conference, Direct Action Everywhere organized a march to the White House. So this is a bunch of activists gathering at the lobby of the hotel. They're catching a shuttle to the metro, taking the metro downtown, disrupting a festival, and then marching to the White House. It was a pretty big turnout after all was said and done.
Crank it all the way up. I see you chowing down cows at the fork and knife, and I'm like, tofu. I see you changing your diet, collecting your life, so try tofu and try tempeh too. If you think me is scary, you should learn about dairy. Tell me that's the truth, ain't nothing true. And if you're gonna play the fool, I'll take you to school with some tofu. Now this is honey. cheese. I mean, love you, but you're eating money. You got moral inconsistencies. I can't take it. And I had to die for you. You didn't tell me with a nice piano. I got some news for you. Yeah, I don't want to tell you, go on my date. I see you chowing down cows before get night, and I'm like, tough food. I think the change in your diet can live in your life. So try tofu and try 10 day 2. If you think meat is scary, you should learn about dairy. Tell me that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? And if you're gonna play the fool, I'ma take you to school with some tofu. Now I know you love nachos, your pizza, burgers, cheese and cheese. Well, you can keep them, you can eat them. Cause there's vegan versions of all of these. Now, I can't do this. I had to die for you. You're eating family well with a nice reality. I got some news for you. Your heart is not. I see you chowing down cows before get night, and I'm like, tough food. I think the change in your diet can lift in your life. So try tofu and try 10 day 2. If you think meat is scary, you should learn about dairy. Tell me that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? And if you're gonna play the fool, I'ma take you to school with some tofu. Now, baby, why you cooking murder all of my friends? My friends. Just blame it on your K-19, your argument has very loose ends. Don't let it spice it, this is nasty. Why hate me? It's not too late. I hear you telling them cars in the morning nights, and I'm like, tough food. I think a change in your diet can lengthen your life. So try tofu, try 10 day 2. If you think me is scary, you should learn about dairy. Tell me that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? And if you're gonna play the fool, I'ma take you